Hello, this is Dave Johnson with a bit of Telly Talk for Friday, the 19th of February, 2021. I hope you're okay. We start this week with one of the weekend's biggest shows, which is off the air on Sunday night. Dancing on Ice. There's a best-of show instead of the actual competition. The thing is, since they started this series of Dancing on Ice, they've been dropping like flies. It's either been COVID or injuries, and we've lost Rufus Hound, Denise Van Outen, Joe Warren Plant, Billy Shepherd, and now Jason Donovan as well, although he might be back, depending on what happens with his back. I've been having a think about this. ITV have got this very expensive ice rink all set up. They need some value for money. So, ITV, how about you do your biggest show on ice instead? Coronation Street on ice. Kevin Webster, he's so used to being cold now after being shut in the freezer. He'd be absolutely fine. I've got the perfect music here for Eileen and Gail to dance together to. The only problem I can think of might be Tracy Barlow doing naughty things, like trying to melt the ice by scattering Betty Turpin's ashes all over it, that kind of thing. There is some great news about Weekend Telly. Ant and Dec are back with the Saturday Night Takeaway. It returns on ITV. They'll have a virtual audience, so it's probably going to look and sound like it always has. And they've lined up some rotten stunts this series on the likes of Davina McCall, Harry Redknapp and some Mo Farah. ITV are definitely going to win Saturday nights for the next few weeks. It's back tomorrow night at 7. Have you been watching Finding Alice? Do you remember we talked about it when it first started? We discussed it on the radio. You can grab the whole thing on the ITV hub or the STV player. It finishes on the telly on Sunday night. Now, it's a bit of a slow start, this series, and you might watch the first episode and think, oh, I'm not really into this. Listen, invest in it. Trust me. It is brilliant television. The characterizations are just great, especially Keely Hawes, and I really can't wait to see what happens in the final episode. Now, you might watch that, as I mentioned, by watching it online using one of the players, but one of the downsides, unless it's BBC iPlayer, is that you get adverts. I've heard a rumour that in the fullness of time, all of our television is going to move online and it will be streamed instead of coming in the way it does now. That's great for the TV companies and the advertisers, but not so good for us because we won't be able to wind through the adverts. You have to pay extra for that. ITV are doing that already. It's a long way off, but it is something that's being considered at the moment by television companies. And the technical arms of Freesat and Freeview have just got together, by the way. So if anything happens, well, you'll be the first to know. Do you remember this music? This week on BBC One late night, just in time to give you nightmares before you hit the hay, Bates Motel, the prequel to Psycho, the story of Norman Bates. Now, I know a lot of people are going to love this, but I can't honestly say it floats my boat. I mean, there are certain things you don't want in the shower. Toenail clippings are bad enough for a start. Right, I'm going to wash my hands of you now. Thanks for listening. I'll see you back here next week. Hopefully next week as well on BBC Radio Stoke with Liz Ellis.